mi gente bella? This is your girl, Amara, la Negra, and you're listening to Exactly Amara. This is a production of iHeart Radio. I am so excited because today we have a special guest. I have been a fan of him my whole life. I have looked up to him my whole life, and I'll tell you all about it. But to start up, just to give you some heads up of what today is about. Today we're talking about how TV has evolved, especially para la comunidad latina. How has TV evolved? How has it changed? What changes should we see on Latin TV? What are the things that we feel that are like I would say personally, I feel like there's this prototype of what Latin TV is. Automatically, they assume that everything's about soap operas and drama and this and that. And it's like TV in the Latino community has done well. I still feel that there's some changes that need to be done. And who better than him? Because he's been doing it for the longest time. He's also an Afro-Latino. Let me see if you can guess. He's also an Afro-Latino. He's Dominican. Oh. He works on Latin TV. Yes. Es morenito. He has a really famous, well, he's been on TV forever, and he has a famous slogan that says, "Que bien." Do you know who it is? Well, before I bring him in, I have to bring in my co-host, Stevie Nunes.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Being Dominican, this is such an honor. Is having you and this guest on the same show. This is going to be a great show. Please fasten your seatbelts.
Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, we were able to get him exclusively VIP because he's super busy. He has so much work going on right now. Pero con nosotros hoy tenemos a Tony Dandrades.
¡Qué bien!
¡Qué bien!
What a great presentation. I feel shy. Me siento así como
ay, por favor,
que no me lo merezco.
Pero mira, lo bello de iHeart es que iHeart decidió sacar esta nueva raíz que es My Cultura Network, nice. Donde permite que nosotros hablemos un poquito de español, que seamos Spanglish para la comunidad.
Cool. I like that.
Para la comunidad, o sea, lo hacemos en Spanglish. Si te sale un chin de inglés, usted mete ahí su inglés.
Let's do it.
Y si no, lo hacemos en español. It's all good. Pero long story short, for those that may not know you, los que no conocen de Tony Dandrades, que I don't know how you don't know, ¿cuántos años tú tienes en la televisión? ¿Cómo comenzaste tú en los medios del entretenimiento y todo lo demás? A ver, danos un poquito sobre ti.
Well, first, thank you for having me in the podcast. By the way, I have my podcast, Qué Bien, con Tony Dandrades. Está en iHeart también, ahí lo pueden buscar. Nice. I would like to say first that I know Amara since she was maybe 10 or 9 years old. I was doing the weather segment in Channel 23, the Univision local station in Miami. And she usually came to Sábado Gigante for different contests. And I remember one day that you took a picture with me, and we still have that picture, you know, and I have it in my hard drive.
Oh, I need to see this, Tony. I got to see this picture.
Yes, y desde ese momento la recuerdo, ¿no? Una chica con mucha chispa y sin miedo de escénico. Y mira dónde has llegado, ¿no? Me siento muy orgulloso de ti, te lo he expresado en más de una ocasión, mi querida Amara. Amen. Y nada, bueno, I started my career in Puerto Rico. I am Dominican. I did my high school in Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo. And then my grandfather, he was Puerto Rican from Ponce, Puerto Rico. By that time, wow. The grandfather podía pedir al nieto, al papá de la hija, o sea, salimos 5 de un golpe de República Dominicana en 1985. When I was a kid, usually I played, I recreate in my room a TV station, you know, with battery, batería Rayovat, that was a camera by that time, and pieces of cartoons in my studio. I created imaginary TV studio. So when I finished my high school, I knew it already what I iba a estudiar, ¿no? Comunicación social. And then when I moved to Puerto Rico, that's what I did. Y comencé en el canal 24, Channel 24, was like a little CNN by that time, a news station in Puerto Rico. I remember that María Celeste Raraz started in that station, Lourdes del Río started in that station, and me, I started as an editor. That's why, till now, I do my own editing. Of everything that you see on TV, on my report, I do the editing. I work now with Adobe, with Final Cut, and Avid. But by that time, I was editing in three-quarter. Era una máquina grandota con un cassette grandísimo así. Era una forma muy mágica de editar. Y así comencé mi carrera en la parte técnica. Por eso respeto mucho la imagen y el sonido y trato de que todo lo que yo presente en televisión tenga buena calidad de imagen y de sonido también. O sea, Tú puedes tener una muy buena entrevista, pero si el audio está fatal, eso a mí me enferma, ¿no? Y yo amo esta profesión desde que era un chamaco, desde niño, since I was a kid.
Wow, la verdad es que eres digno de admirar. Siempre recuerdo y sabes que de paso de ser artista y todo lo demás, soy activista. Siempre me he sentido muy orgullosa de mis raíces, siempre me he sentido orgullosa de poder apoyar a mi raza, a mi gente, porque desafortunadamente en los medios del entretenimiento y de la comunicación somos muy pocos los que tenemos la oportunidad de estar frente a las cámaras. Em, ¿Cómo sientes, o sea, el cambio, ¿no? De cuando tú primero comenzaste tu carrera en la televisión a ahora, que ya estamos en 2021, ¿cómo ha evolucionado la televisión cuando se refiere a personas de color en tus ojos?
Yeah, that's a topic that I have talked with Amara often, ¿no? En diferentes entrevistas en televisión y en podcast y todo eso. Y es algo que yo estoy muy pendiente, ¿no? Porque como tú bien dices, yo comencé en la televisión en una época donde eran muy pocos los mulatos que estaban ante las cámaras. Y agradezco esa oportunidad que me dieron porque se fueron abriendo brechas para que sigan entrando más talentos de nuestro color, ¿no? Del color de la noche, este color tan chulo que es el que tenemos nosotros. Y la evolución ha sido lenta, pero ha habido algo, ¿no? Todavía falta muchísimo por hacer, más en el mercado hispano, ¿no? Que en el mercado anglo. En el mercado afroamericano, pues hay más oportunidades. Ellos han batallado más y han ganado muchas batallas. A nosotros todavía nos falta un gran terreno por el cual seguir avanzando. Y si nos vamos a Latinoamérica es peor aún la situación. If you go to country like Peru, Mexico, you don't going to see any black folks on TV. If you see a soap opera in those countries, they usually choose the black actors as sirvientes, papeles muy pequeños y no protagónicos, ¿no? Y eso es algo que yo siempre pues he estado luchando, y al igual que tú, Amara, también pues tenemos eco en nuestras voces, y es importante hablar, y que esa voz se escuche. Pero sí, o sea, todavía falta mucho camino que recorrer en este tema.
Yo siempre hablo de lo mucho que, por ejemplo, en el ámbito de la música, siempre he sido muy honesta y he dicho que Celia Cruz fue una de mis inspiraciones más grandes, y bueno, siempre la he elevado, igual como han habido mucho, inclusive Johnny Ventura, que desafortunadamente, he passed away not too long ago. I always spoke about how much I admired him. Believe it or not, through your work ethic, your professionalism, through who you are and the way that you present yourself to the world, you have inspired so many women and men that want to be in the news, that want to be in journalism. Si tú pudieses darle algunas palabras de motivación, inspiración a aquellos chicos que dicen, cónchale, si Tony Dandrades, siendo un hombre moreno, pero preparado, educado, porque él se ha fajado, o sea, él está donde está, no porque se lo han regalado, sino porque se lo ha ganado. Si yo veo a Tony Dandrades ahí, ¿qué tuviera que hacer yo? ¿Existe la posibilidad de que algún día yo también pueda ser como él? ¿Qué palabras de aliento le pudieses dar?
When I go to my country, Dominican Republic, I see a lot of Tony in the street. Kids that like, this profession, and they ask me, hey man, you're my motivation, I want to be like you. Y yo les respondo de que sigan insistiendo, porque lo que pasa es que al no ver muchos afrolatinos en la televisión, el afrolatino que le pudiera interesar esta profesión dice, ¿para qué lo voy a estudiar si no veo oportunidades? Y yo creo que esa no es la forma de pensar. Si te gusta, hazlo, prepárate, bien preparado, y echa el pleito, o sea, porque tanto se insiste que se logran las oportunidades. Y ese es mi consejo, ¿no? Persistencia, insistencia y preparación. Y creo que y unión también, tenemos que unirnos. Mientras más somos, más oportunidades vamos a abrir para que las futuras generaciones, para que los hijos de Amara, cuando lo tenga, para que mis hijos también, que tienen ciertos rasgos pues afros, vean que sí se puede lograr una profesión, tanto en el cine, en el periodismo, en cualquier rama de este maravilloso mundo de las comunicaciones.
Hablando de la República Dominicana, que la queremos. I love my country, let me tell you. El plátano.
Me too.
That was the first time I ever seen an Afro-Latina on TV was when we were speaking about Joni Ventura, was when she was covering all the events that were happening. I was like, wow, a Dominican on TV, que chula. I mean, I know there's some in the States, but how is television different in the States opposed to Dominican Republic? Y hablaste de Puerto Rico, I'm Dominican Rican too. ¿Cuál es la diferencia for you as a,
Bueno, mucha.
You talking about the quality or the inclusion?
Bueno, no, en general, la calidad,
in general?
los conceptos televisivos que yo sé que en un momento dado
Absolutely.
tú has sido muy honesto y has dicho cómo te sientes de la calidad del concepto. No es que el talento no esté, pero hay cosas que se pudieran pulir un poquito más, ¿no?
Seguro, yo me he metido en algunos problemitas por hablar lo que siento cuando me preguntan. Yo soy periodista y yo cuando hago preguntas me gusta que me respondan, por eso cuando me hacen preguntas yo respondo, ¿no? Y respondo honestamente. Y una vez me preguntaron cuál era mi opinión sobre la televisión dominicana y yo las palabras textuales que dije, hay programas buenos y hay otros que me dan pena ajena, usé ese término. Y eso se fue tergiversando y cambiando. Y después dijeron no, que yo estaba diciendo que la televisión no servía ya y todo eso. Lo que pasa es que yo vengo de una influencia que eran los años 80 en la República Dominicana, cuando se hacía muy buena televisión. Estaba un Jackie Núñez del Risco, Freddy Verasgoico, el show del mediodía, programas de noche, programas de gente que estaba muy bien preparada y que te educaban. Jackie tenía un segmento que se llamaba Jackie trae cultura con sabrosura, que era orígenes de palabras y de costumbres, y uno que no tenía, en esa época yo no tenía aparatos electrónicos para jugar, sino era todo muy orgánico. Mi entretención era la televisión y esa forma de hablar de esa persona me motivaban a querer hablar como ellos y esa fue mi influencia. Entonces yo creo que eso ha habido pues una decadencia en la República Dominicana. Ya cualquiera persona con cierta relación pues se para frente de una cámara y tiene un programa de televisión. Y lamentablemente en nuestros campos hay niños que sí todavía toman la televisión como una forma de educarse y de hablar. Y a veces cuando no se expresan bien ante las cámaras, pues los niños piensan que esa es la forma de hablar y se va deteriorando nuestro léxico coloquial. Y eso ha pasado mucho en el país. Sí hay programas buenos, hay programas que aquí veo mucho, monitoreo mucho lo que está pasando en mi país, tanto en televisión como en radio. Pero hay algunos que todavía o no deben estar o deben mejorar. Y yo me uno siempre, todos los años, con Edilena Taktuk, que es una productora formidable en República Dominicana. Ella hace un taller que se llama Imaginativa y yo he ido varias veces a dar charlas allá a estudiantes de comunicación. Ella también ha invitado a muchos profesionales de acá, de Estados Unidos. Y se está haciendo algo, o sea, no es solamente criticar, estamos aportando algo para la mejora de la televisión. Y ojo, aquí también en Estados Unidos se hace muy mala televisión. Hay algunos canales que tienen programas pésimos. En toda parte del mundo se cuecen habas. Pero a mí me duele lo mío. Y fue donde comenzó ese gran amor por la televisión en mi país y siempre estoy pendiente y quisiera que fuera una mejor televisión.
Bueno, tú sabes que me encanta que eres honesto, eres un hombre de tu palabra y aunque han querido hacerte retractar de tu comentario, me gusta que dijiste lo que tú sientes y tienes el derecho de dar tu opinión. Le gusta a quien le gusta y el que no, y la verdad es que yo estoy de acuerdo contigo. O sea, bueno. Hay muchas cosas que se pueden mejorar y ese comentario creo que vino it came from a good place. You're only trying to better the culture, better the TV. I saw it as a very positive comment. Pero moving a little bit more into your personal life.
Oh my God.
Sé que eres un hombre de familia. Sé
Así
que has estado casado por muchos años. A ver, mira, esta generación, ayúdame un chin. Es difícil encontrar una pareja y mucho más cuando uno está en el ámbito del entretenimiento, que uno tiene que estar viajando, que por aquí, que por allá. ¿Cómo has podido mantener esa familia unida? Que ella siempre he visto que te apoya, hacen ejercicio juntos. Yo estoy pendiente de todo lo que ustedes hacen como familia, comparten con sus hijos. ¿Qué tan difícil hoy por hoy es mantener ese hogar firme?
Mira, in my case, my wife is from Detroit, Michigan. She's 100% American, but she was living in the Dominican Republic for almost 2 years. She went there to teach English in a academy. And then she was starting working with Hochi Santos en el Votando el Golpe, el number one afternoon show on radio. So she's very famous in Dominican Republic. She was maybe more famous than me before in Dominican Republic cuando yo la conocí. Allá le dicen la americana, Amy. Y ahí nos conocimos. Ya, de hecho, el programa de Hochi cumple ahora 25 años al aire y fue nuestro cupido, o sea. Ella también es periodista, ella estudió literatura en Michigan y aquí es la editora de Miami.com, el website del periódico el Miami Herald. O sea que hay muchas cosas en común en nuestras vidas, ¿no? En nuestra profesión. Aquí tengo mi estudio en mi casa, donde estoy ahorita hablando con ustedes. Ella ahorita está trabajando en su estudio aquí en la casa también. O sea que esto parece un newsroom. Prácticamente lunes a viernes, ¿no? Y a veces los fines de semana también tenemos que trabajar. Pero yo creo que contestando tu pregunta es cuestión de comunicación, ¿no? Y en nuestro caso, que somos de culturas diferentes, tengo la suerte de que a mi esposa le encanta la cultura dominicana, la conoce muy bien. Y yo he vivido aquí por tantos años en Estados Unidos, conozco muchos estados, he visitado muchos lugares de este país, o sea, que conozco muy bien su cultura. Y comunicación, o sea, no es todo color de rosa, ha habido momentos complicados, como en toda pareja, ¿no? Pero son más los momentos felices que los bemoles.
Claro. That is so awesome. Yo quisiera algún día también, ¿verdad, Stevie? To be married and have children and be like, así como que that bond that they have together, that they support each other, they understand each other's
I
careers.
just think it's awesome.
That's awesome.
That is so
yo no creo que tú no le estás,
like that.
o sea,
I mean, even for our listeners right now, we have a lot of Caucasian listeners. And
y no es por falta de pretendientes, Amara, porque yo sé que tú tienes muchos pretendientes.
Bueno, tengo
no
pretendientes, pero es un poquito difícil porque ya cuando una cosa es como dicen, una cosa es llamar al diablo y otra es verla llegar. Ya cuando ven que uno tiene que estar en la viajadera, que la cosa se pone un poquito complicada, it's a little bit hard. But CB, you know what? I think I am so honored to have Tony today with us. Estamos celebrando el mes de la hispanidad. I thought that it was so important for us to have him because he's such a great representation of not just a Dominican man, a Black man, a Latino man. Overall, I just think he does such a great job. And I know that he has to go because he's super busy. We only have him for a little bit of time, which I've been so grateful to have him. Pero I just want to ask him really quick, ¿cómo celebras tú el mes de la hispanidad?
Mira, yo creo que la hispanidad hay que celebrarla los 12 meses del año. O sea, hay que pregonar, hay que destacar, hay que sentirse orgulloso de lo que somos, ¿no? Pero quizás resaltando un poco más este mes de octubre, ¿no? No hay nada en particular así en especial. Quizás hacemos más entrevistas alusivas al tema, hacemos algunos posts alusivos también a la hispanidad, pero nosotros que vivimos aquí en este país, que ha sido una gran nación y que nos ha abierto las puertas a muchos inmigrantes y hemos logrado el sueño americano, porque yo sí puedo poner el cuño de que sí he vivido y estoy viviendo el sueño americano, amo esta gran nación. Como hispano me siento muy orgulloso, ¿no? Y que tengamos cadenas, estaciones, que se pueda hablar nuestro idioma y que mis hijos sean bilingües. Eso es lo que no tiene precio. Así que me siento muy orgulloso de mis orígenes y hay que resaltar en cada momento, no solamente en el mes de octubre, el mes de la hispanidad, de que somos hispanos y que nos sentimos muy orgullosos de serlo.
Wow. That is the cherry on the topic. I loved it. We're so honored to have you, Tony. Thank you so much for being an inspiration to so many Latinos, to so many Latinx, for this new generation. Believe it or not, you are inspiring. You are iconic. You are a living legend. Believe it or not, yes, you are. And it has been an honor for us to have you, and it's an honor for me to consider you my friend. Así que muchísimas gracias de corazón. My brother, ya lo sabe.
Tu hermano mayor. Oye, quiero también recordarles de que busquen mi podcast. Está también en iHeart Radio. En la aplicación.
Tell us about your podcast. I didn't want you to leave without telling me. Tell me about your podcast.
Se llama Qué bien con Tony Dandrades, The Podcast. Ahí ya tengo como unos 17 episodios. Pongo episodios nuevos cada jueves. Y está muy interesante, son conversaciones, pláticas. De hecho, tengo una con Amara tocando el tópico de los afrolatinos y las vicisitudes que han pasado. Tengo una con Amara, con Kalimba y con Chucky Town, que está muy interesante, lo pueden buscar. Así que ya saben, Qué bien con Tony Dandrades de Podcast. Suscríbanse, presionen la campanita para que le lleguen los nuevos episodios.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Tony.
¡Qué bien! Un fuerte abrazo.
Bye. OMG. OMG, Stevie. It was, let me tell you something. I am such a fan of Tony Dandrades. I can't believe I was just able to get him on this podcast because this means so much to me. It was just good. He's so professional. He's so good. Like his energy. I mean, he's everything.
And his English is so good. Like,
Óyeme, y él di que a él le da vergüenza hablar inglés. Oye, ahora un hombre que habla inglés perfecto.
It sounded perfect, and I just thought it was amazing. But we have touched on a topic, you know, as far as like television and how it has evolved, especially in the Latinx community. Mm-hmm. Amara, what do you wish could change, though? What do you wish could change?
I think I've spoken about it so many times, and I've been so honest about it, especialmente ahora que estamos hablando de mi cultura y estamos celebrando el mes de la hispanidad. You know, we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. I really wish that I would see more diversity when it comes to the people that they choose to be in on front of cameras, you know? And I mean diversity, not just country-wise, but diversity physically. Give me different features. Give me different hair textures. Give me a little bit of everything. I don't expect them to just have Black people or to just have, you know, okay, now it's just a channel full of Afro-Latinos, which I wouldn't be mad at that because African-Americans, for example, they have BET. They have certain networks that mainly uplifts the African-American community. I wish that the Latino community, we also had a network that uplifted the Afro-Latino community and the minorities as well. I really wish that we had that, but we don't. We mainly really have like 2 channels. And in those 2 channels, we don't see a lot of us.
I think that because that's what they do. They go, why do we have to put a Latin face if we gave them Univision? Why do we, you know, I feel like that's the thought process. It's just me.
Right. But the thing is that when you talk about the Latino community, mm-hmm. There's this error, there's this concept for a lot of Americans that when you talk about Latinos, you talk about Mexicans, or you may talk about people from Central America. They are Latinos as well, but then what happens to Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Colombians, Honduras, Guatemala, Chile, Ecuador, you know, Argentina, Uruguay, the list goes on. And we're all Latinos. We all have different cultures. We all listen to different music. We all have different language. Like we speak differently, like, but we're all Latinos. So it's hard when you try to squeeze this whole, you know, world of countries into like 5 people that represent what the Latino community looks like. And
it's so sad because all the other, like the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, they are the ones that are giving ratings to these networks. And I kind of feel like I do always see the same thing. And I feel like it has evolved. But in the 90s, it was only one particular race that I used to see all the time. And
right.
It was like, I love that we have diversity now. I love that because
y todavía we don't have
fair.
That much.
Because if my whole Puerto Rican community is watching and my whole Dominican community is watching, why do we have somebody that looks like us that represent? You know what I mean? Because we don't like it that NBC or all these American, you know, which are just English-based networks, we don't like it that they don't have us on there, but then we do the same thing to our people. You know what I mean? But I feel like it has evolved throughout the years.
I don't feel that it has evolved too much, to be honest.
That's all right, keep it real. Exactly.
I don't feel that it has evolved too much. And that's why we had a guest like Tony Dandrades, who's been on TV for like, I would say 20 plus years. And he's one out of very few. And it's like, it still continues to be unfair to me when we continue to see soap operas, when we continue to see magazine covers, when we continue to see series, when we continue to see so many things that they still financially benefit from the Afro-Latino community. They still benefit from the Black Latinos, but they still won't give up more opportunities.
Come on.
We're grateful that they've given us few a chance to be in the spotlight, but there should be more of us. We shouldn't have to be grateful to be given an opportunity that should be fair to all of us, the same way that it is for others. So I wouldn't say that it has evolved too much in the Latino community, perhaps. In the African American, there has definitely been an evolution. But in the Latino, we still have a long way to go. And that's why we're being so vocal about it. So, es que todavía, mira una novela, y yo sé que la mayoría de las novelas se hacen en México, you know, But mira novelas and look at, these are like our major things. If you look at the news, if you look at many of these things, please let me know. Screenshot how many Black people or how many melanated people do you see on these networks. You just don't. That's why we're so vocal and we're so upset. And we've been talking about it for years, but nothing seems to change. So I am grateful because at least by me being on it and people like Tony Dandrades and many other people, we are able to inspire and motivate others that want to follow our footsteps and want to be in the entertainment industry, but feel that what's the point of doing it when they don't use us, when they don't allow us to be there. I'm like, I get it. Trust me, I do. But you just have to fight and knock and break those barriers and continue to open doors for other people like ourselves.
Yes, and I just want to honor you because your place in Nuestra Belleza Latina, like that.
Yes, thank you.
Amazing. And
yes,
seeing your
that
face
too.
there was just like, yes. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like a milestone. It's like,
right.
Wow, look at Amara La Negra.
Yes, and I want to be able to be
La
an
Negra.
inspiration for
Like,
other people.
I
La
love how
Negra.
you put Amara La Negra. Like, I love that. Like, I'm in there. What's up?
Yes.
My face is here.
Yes,
I love it.
for
How
sure.
do you feel?
I feel proud. I feel grateful for Univision for allowing me and giving me this platform to be able to, get my job done, to learn, to grow, to inspire others that watch me and feel like one day they'll be able to do the same thing that I'm doing, if not better. And that's my thing. I always say that in life is like, what do you leave behind? What was your purpose? How were you impactful? And I think that I'm being impactful by doing these type of things. So I am happy. I am honored. I am blessed. Y nada, what a better time, ahora que estamos celebrando el mes de la hispanidad, to be able to talk about these things and, to be on a positive side, because this is really inspirational. I wanted today's show to be inspirational for those that feel like, ¿para qué lo voy a estudiar? ¿Para qué me voy a meter a una audición? Why am I going to audition if they're not going to pick me? Don't think like that. Don't think like that. You have to feel positive and you have to feel like anything is possible, because what is meant for you is meant for you no matter what.
So speaking of representation, Latino representation, I feel like when the networks, like these are being seen in America, and honestly, what I would love to see is more bilingual. I'm not trying to cancel the Spanish language, but there is a lot of the kids that are still proud to be Latino, but they don't understand, and I don't want them to lose the culture. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that are Spanish that are like me. That are urban. Yo soy bien urbano. I mean, sometimes I could be like classy, but that'll be clatchet. You know what I mean? And it's almost like there's you have to be a certain way so that you could be successful. As a lot of times, and I'm going to give myself as a example, like in the Spanish, radio industry or TV industry, just because my Spanish is not like, bueno, aquí estamos. It's not like they don't give us the opportunity, but that's not really the realness of America. Real Latinx children, second generation, third generation, they are like me. Where we speak
I know,
English
but I don't know, because see, here you and I can debate and you and I can go at it. See, you're pro Spanglish. I'm pro Spanglish because I speak Spanglish all the time. But in my case, I was forced by my mom, not by the industry or anything like that. I was forced by a Latina woman that doesn't speak or didn't speak no English, which forced me to have to learn Spanish. And in my case, my mom wasn't the one that was like, talk to me in English, even though she understood, and I'll answer in Spanish. It was like, si tú no me hablas español, I'm not answering. O sea, si tú no me hablas español, I'm not going to answer. So she forced it on me, and I'm grateful for that, because the fact that she was so persistent on me, it allowed me to be able to diversify and have more opportunities because I am bilingual. However, if you are a part of that Latinx community that you speak Spanglish and you may understand it but can't speak it, or speak it but have an accent, or whatever the case may be, the question to me would be, do you perfect it and make it better, or do you stay in your comfort zone and try to have more opportunities given to you in a space where you don't speak well English or Spanish, you're just stuck in the middle?
Well, here's the thing. I get really upset at this because, like, okay, for me, I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican. So el español mío es bien diferente, bien distinto a lo demás. Because sometimes I got to come out with the coño and the carajo. or sometimes I gotta say, and it's really difficult. And I remember Cardi talking about this. She talked about being Dominican, being Trinidadian, being, it's like, and then I grew up in the urban areas, right? So I have that urban in me, but then I went to the best schools, thank God. And so I could speak in a certain manner, but I am proud of the people that are like me that could switch it up. Like you, Amara, you do so well at this. You'll be on TV and you're really good at your English and then you're really good with your Spanish. But with myself, it's like, it's not fair that in the industry, especially in the television industry, that they deny people jobs.
Do we work to educate? Wait, it's not about being proper. It's not about talking like Billy or speaking a certain type of manner. That's not the topic. It's about knowing how to speak the language. So in my case, my question to you would be, do you put effort into educating yourself and perfecting the language, or do you stay in your comfort zone and ask others to accept you, not knowing one or the other?
I love people to accept me for who I am because I don't have the mental capacity to go and learn even more.
Yes, you do.
I'm a father. I'm doing so many other things in my life.
You don't have the time. You don't have the time, but not the mental capacity.
I'm going to have to hang out with Mami Ana, and then we're just going to have to hang out for a whole week.
Don't say that you don't have the mental capacity. You're smart. You can do it if you want to.
What I mean is the mental space. I meant the space in my mental. Sorry. I don't have the space to do anymore. I mean, it's always good to better yourself every day. Yes. But the truth of the matter is, I don't know. I don't have time. And you know what? There's a lot of people like me in the world. So
go on exactly, Amara. Of course.
And
of course there is. But then here's the debate. Here's the question. ¿Tú me entiendes? You are accepted wherever you go. Your family loves you. I accept you. I don't have a problem accepting you. It has nothing to do with acceptance. It's like if you're talking about work or certain jobs or whatever, where they require a certain standard, do you educate yourself? Do you take that time to be like, okay, I need Rosetta Stone so that I can better this, so that I can get this job, so that I could be better? ¿Nos mejoramos o buscamos que nos acepten en otros estándares? So I just think that's what it is. It's like me. My English sometimes is a little messed up. And even though I was born and raised in Miami, and English should be my first language, but it's really not. It's Spanish because that's the first language I learned at home, and I learned English in school with my friends, music, and everything else. Like a lot of kids that come from immigrant parents, you're born in the States, you learn hip hop, and you learn all these other genres, and you learn English and the vibe, the culture through there. And sometimes I speak Spanglish. A cada rato, like right now, in my brain, I can switch it off. Y hablar en español, te hablo en inglés, back and forth. It's an automatic for me. However, sometimes myself, when I mess up, I figure out ways of like, let me Google this. Let me see how you say this. Or, mami, ¿cómo se dice tal palabra? Because I'm trying to figure out ways to better myself. I don't stay in that comfort zone of like, well, I just don't know. So fuck it, or I'm just going to come up with a word. Because then we're not bettering ourselves. And then when we do that and then we have kids, that's how I personally feel. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. And if I am, educate me, because I'm always open to learning. But then when we have kids, we're unable to educate them and teach them how to maintain the language. And then we go back into this, yo te hablo en inglés or Spanglish, and you answer me in whatever language you want to answer me. It's like, how do we better this? How do we not lose our culture? How do we not lose our Spanish? How do we not lose our cultura, nuestra música? We become so Americanized, because I just had a hot dog for breakfast. But I'm like, we become so Americanized that am I losing a little bit?
America, like I went to school for communications, but they didn't teach me the Spanish side of things. That wasn't
right, and you're great at it. It
wasn't even
English.
An option. Like it wasn't an option. When I went through school for communications, they did not teach me anything. So it's like it's self-made, or people that come from other countries, they come here and they get those jobs at Univision and Telemundo. But how about the people that are from here that, I think that maybe they should implement in our school system. Maybe they should implement communications with the Spanish. Because if you're going to have a Spanish-speaking based network in our country, why not teach kids that? You know what I mean?
I feel like education is key. I would never be mad, because a lot of people feel like when they're upset at someone because they don't know something, they just want to be like, oh, you stupid, da-da-da, and you don't know. Enséñame. Cool. I'm not even mad. Edúcame. If I don't know something, háblame. Mira, Amara, you don't say it like this. I have people tell me all the time. I had the hardest word the other day, and they're like, oh, they were making fun of me. And I was like, don't make fun of me. Enséñame. Help me. Because this is the only way I can get better. I hate that, by the way. I hate it when you see someone that's messing up on something and you just stand there and you laugh at them. Don't fucking laugh. What type of friend are you? What type of person are you? If you want to laugh for 2 seconds and then be like, yo, mira, you do it like this or you do it like that. Help us improve. Don't just sit there and laugh.
There's people in Dominican Republic, like they, or like in other, countries, when we come from America and we speak their language, they look at us like we're crazy because we don't sound like them or articulate our words like them. But then in my mind, I was like, try knowing both languages, okay? Because you only know one. Try knowing English and Spanish, okay? And when I'm at the mental space, like when they come here to America, I don't laugh at them. I be like, vamos hablar. Let me teach one. You give me one word. Like, let's educate each other. And you're right. We need to start uplifting ourselves as a Latinx community instead of laughing at each other because one doesn't speak the way, or thinking that someone is less than or un bruto just because they don't sound a certain way. There are people that have accents that are intelligent, that are doctors. I mean, how many Latinx doctors we have that have an accent, but they get the job done. That does not take away from just because you don't, and the other versus the other side of things, just because you don't speak Spanish properly doesn't mean that you're not a Latino. You know what I mean? So that's true. It doesn't make you less Latino if you don't know how to speak the language correctly.
Of course not. Of course not. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you said that. And you know what? The most beautiful thing that you said out of all of this is that we have to uplift each other up. As a Latinx community, as Latinos, as minorities, we already have enough pressure from the world trying to come for us. We already have enough wars. We already have enough going on right now. And at this moment, like I said before, I feel that we need to educate each other, figure out ways to be in places of power, figure out ways to be financially independent, to be able to uplift other fellow Latinos that need our support. If you have a business, hire other Latinos so that we can continue to grow. I'm not saying disregard other races. This has nothing to do. But if you feel like you want to do something that's beneficial to your community, it's figuring out other ways that we can support each other. The same way that happens with a lot of these networks. Let's celebrate Latinos and let's uplift them too in other networks that are not necessarily Latino networks as well. I think it's a little bit unfair that they choose and pick when they want to talk about us, when they want to uplift us, and when and how they want to choose their words to talk about the Latino community. I think that we need to do better. But I really want to end up on a high note because I'm still excited about the fact that we had Tony Dandrades on the show today, and that alone was amazing. He really just makes me feel so proud of being Latina, of being Dominicana, of being Black, of being Latina, of being part of the Latinx community. He makes me feel proud. And now that we're celebrating the now that we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, I just want to give props to all the professional people out there that work in the entertainment industry, that work in sports, that work on television, that work in the education system, that work in politics. All these people that are making these real changes in the world. We are so grateful for you. Feel proud of being Latino. Feel proud of being part of the Latinx community. Even like Stevie said, even if you don't speak perfect Spanish, that doesn't make you less Latino. You should feel proud of your heritage and where you come from and your culture and your ancestors and all that great stuff. So I don't know. I feel great to be Latino. And how are you going to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, Stevie?
Well, I'm all Spanish. I mean, I don't know if you have checked out my posts on Stevie Nuna's Instagram page. I've been going to support local businesses, Latinx businesses. I posted myself dancing at local bars, local clubs, really embracing our culture. I am just so excited. I mean, this culture I celebrate every day because this is my culture. Esta nuestra cultura. I am a very proud Latino, and wherever I am, I mean, since I was in high school, if you Google E.C. Goodwin main event, you'll see that I did this whole Dominican, Puerto Rican Discovery Day, and we were all dancing Kuriquitaca. I had choreography. So I've always been so into our culture, you know.
I
But
would
be
definitely
proud of
say
who
it's
you
true
are,
because
and-
I've seen it. I've seen you. I've seen the way that you uplift the Latino community, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans. Yo te veo on your social media. If you guys don't follow Stevie, go check him out. What's your Instagram?
It's Stevie Nunez, SteveYNEZ.
Go
And we
check
have
him
each other.
out.
We only have each other. Even when I was
Yeah.
in like, morning radio, and I didn't see enough Latinos on our, getting enough spins. Or I used to always be like, come on, you
Yeah.
need to play this person. Come on, like you're
It
not
is
gonna
true.
have
You
me
used to do that
here
for me. You
as
used
the
to do that
token
for
Latino.
me.
You're not gonna play none of my. What happened?
You used to do that for me, and I was so grateful for that because you always did find ways to support my music. And I'm grateful for that because, to be honest, that's what I'm talking about. When you're in places of power and you're able to uplift other Latinos, please go ahead and do that because we need your support. That's the only way that we can become stronger together, is if we all support each other. And it's like, if I have a connect, don't be stingy with a connect. There's enough. Mira, the world is made of abundance. There's enough abundance in this world, financially, food, water, trees, everything. There is enough for all of us. Don't be stingy with the plug. If you know somebody that can help a friend out, be like, look, mira, esto te conviene a ti. This is good for you. Spread it out so that we can continue to grow. And by the way, if you haven't followed me yet, go follow me at Amara La Negra ALN. Amara La Negra ALN. I am going to be posting some throwback pictures of me, the way that I celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month since I was a little girl, the way that I am proud of being Latina. I'm going to post a couple of things there that should be kind of fun. Like I said, today has been such a productive and a great inspirational podcast. I'm so excited, and I want to tell you guys to remember to rate us, okay? Rate us and share this podcast with everyone you know, with your friends, with your family, with everybody. Check it out. This has been a production of iHeart Radio's My Cultura Podcast Network. I am so honored to be able to have exactly Amara on My Cultura Podcast Network and on iHeart Radio for supporting us, for supporting this movement of the Latino community, the Latinx community, and giving us a space where we can be honest, we can be free, we can just be ourselves transparent. We really needed this. And by the way, for more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeart Radio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows, because there's so many other great shows happening on My Cultura Podcast Network. There's so many other great podcasts, pero que you know that you are fans and friends and families of Exactly Amara. So with that being said, thank you guys for joining Exactly Amara. We will see you next Thursday. Woo, woo.